floodwaters rushed in on July 4th, most people did their best to get away from the river. But a group of Kerrville ISD bus drivers did the exact opposite.
They put themselves in danger to evacuate campers along the Guadalupe. Tonight, News 4 San Antonio's Jordan Elder takes us inside that bus ride, and you'll see why to many parents these bus drivers are heroes.
Through raging waters and broken roads, Amanda Nicholson says there was only one option.
Our family was in trouble and we were able to help in the best way that we could.
Full speed ahead behind the wheel of a school bus,
where we picked up a bunch of the Mystic girls that they had drove in from camp. All we knew is that we had a bunch of young girls holding each other's hands, waiting to get on our buses.
Amanda has her commercial driver's license to take her Tyvee High School volleyball team to and from games. On July 4th, the stakes were much higher.
A lot of these girls had pajamas on. A lot of them didn't have shoes. They had nothing but each other. And so that was a hard view in itself, that this happened while they were sleeping.
Millions of people across the world have seen this video. Girls from Camp Mystic singing on their way to safety. For Amanda, the journey was more somber. She watched as children ran off her bus and into the arms of their worried parents.
To see fear in everybody was extremely difficult. And it was extremely difficult to have some of those parents ask you, when everybody got off your bus, is that it? Because they didn't see their child. And so that was really hard.
There are people who are calling you and the other bus drivers that went in there to help evacuate people heroes. Do you see it that way?
I think we just wanted to help our first responders, anybody that was chest deep, the family members who saved their family, those are heroes. The counselors, the people that gave their lives to save these kids, I mean, those are your heroes.
Her boss sees it differently.
They're heroes. They're heroes.
Ken Knowles was on a cruise when the floodwaters hit, but he says he wasn't surprised when he heard how his team responded.
Faster than I could possibly have imagined, we had buses on the road ready to rescue kids.
In total, 10 district buses brought about 900 campers to safety. These green bows will be waiting as bus drivers return to the barn in August, a way to honor the lives lost. And about that bus driver title,
I've told them that there's a saying that I'm going to ban from our department. I'm just a bus driver. They were comforters, they were rescuers, and in my mind, they're all heroes.
It's going to be hard, but we're strong and we're going to make it. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Reporting in Kerrville, I'm Jordan Elder.
We have the latest on the Hill Country flooding disaster. Kerr County confirming 107 deaths from the flooding July 4th. That means there's been no changes in those numbers. Also no change here. 97 people still missing. The county says the missing list is fluctuated because of a hotline reporting victim recovery efforts and the outreach to those who were initially reported missing. Yesterday, several communities honored the life of one of the little girls from Camp Mystic. Guadalupe County Fire and Seguin Fire honoring 8-year-old Virginia Hollis with a solemn procession as her body was taken from Camp Mystic to Belleville. Virginia is one of the 27 girls and counselors that died on the July 4th flooding disaster. The emotional toll likely never ends, but there is a physical rebuild happening as well. And although homes will be rebuilt, it's hard for many to see that right now. So the floodwaters destroyed homes not covered by insurance. It destroyed homes, period. But it did leave folks like Greg Atkins to face the cleanup alone. When we spoke to him hours after the flooding, he showed us how the water surged through his home on Waterfront Drive. In some spots, it got as high as 5 feet. Nearly 2 weeks later, he is still in cleanup mode.
Got regular home insurance and all that stuff, but that doesn't pay anything. So
Up and down the Guadalupe River, there are still piles of debris everywhere because of a river that grew nearly 3 stories in a matter of hours that day. We're also looking at the damage in Hunt, where Camp La Junta sits there along the Guadalupe River. And 2 weeks later, damage is still everywhere. The cabins, horse stables, they're gone, torn apart by that flooding. Owner Larry Graham plans to rebuild. He says he's overwhelmed by the community support. He described the terrifying moments on that day the flooding began.
By the time the morning came up, we realized that it was a real flood, and it was bigger than anything we had ever experienced before, but nobody had any reason to expect it would get that big. It had plenty of opportunities before, and it was always less than that.
Well, now it's all hands on deck as that cleanup begins and making sure that neighbors have the emotional support that they need as well. One Universal City business is raising money for flood victims after one of its regulars survived the floods. News 4's Destiny Fuller now with details on how Bob's Special is helping them do just that.
Bob Yost is an 83-year-old Air Force veteran. Almost every day he walks into Gather Brewing Company, sits at the bar, and orders what has since been dubbed the Bob Special.
It's a Bob signature. Yep, 2 beers and a pizza.
By looking at him, you'd never know he faced those deadly hill country floods nearly 2 weeks ago.
He was actually out in Kerrville, staying in a cabin by the river, and we were very anxious about, we figured he might be out there, and it turns out he was.
Mike Bowler owns the brewery with his wife. He says Bob is like family to them. He visits Kerr County several times a year, and he went to bed in his cabin on July 3rd with no clue of what would be at his door the next morning.
There was a pounding on the door, and I went, and somebody said, "You have 6 minutes to get out of here." I took one look, and I could hear the raging water, and I could see the river up where it had never been.
In minutes, he grabbed what he could, coming back to his truck to find the water rising by the minute. Bob made it to higher ground just in time.
I was soaking wet, and I really had no place to go or nothing to do, and we were told that they were trying to find a building for us to go to.
He doesn't want to be seen as a victim.
Because I'm not. I saw firsthand, and know firsthand the lives that were lost. I saw homes that were destroyed, and when I see that and I didn't experience it, it just makes me realize I'm very blessed. I have nothing to complain about.
But he still wants to help those in need. Mike says the Bob Special was the perfect way to do that.
He wants his story to inspire people to give to the cause, and so we're donating all the profits from the Bob Special to a nonprofit that's going to help in that area.
I was surprised, but then it's for a good cause, and if that helps, then hey, I'm happy for that.
For News 4, I'm Destiny Fuller.
News 4 is teaming up with the Salvation Army for Sinclair Cares Texas Tragedy Relief. Thanks to you, we have raised more than $183,000. Just scan the QR code to help provide meals to survivors and first responders. Greg Abbott announcing more federal money that will help flood victims. SNAP recipients in 26 additional counties can now use their benefits to buy hot meals and ready-to-eat food that runs through August 14th. The governor also updated his disaster declaration, including Hamilton, Lampasas, Maverick, Sutton, and Uvalde counties on that list. When floodwaters swept through Kerr County on July 4th, most people did their best to get out of harm's way, but a group of school bus drivers did what heroes do. They ran to the danger. 10 bus drivers from Kerrville ISD drove into the flooding to try and rescue nearly 900 campers there at Camp Mystic. Amanda Nicholson was behind with the wheel of one of the buses. She was focused on one thing, getting those girls to safety.
All we knew is that we had a bunch of young girls holding each other's hands, waiting to get on our buses. It's gonna be hard, but we're strong and we're gonna make it. And that's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Those drivers all say they will be back to work for the school district in August. We, of course, will keep updating you on what's happening in the Hill Country. You can get those updates here on TV and online at news4sa.com and also on our social media pages as well. And remember, permits are still required for any flood damage repairs in Kerrville, but the city is waiving all fees to help speed up the process. City officials say it's important to get a permit before starting any work, especially for any electrical or plumbing work. The waiver only applies to documented flood damage. If you do need a permit, call the city's Development Services Office. That number 830-258-1514, or you can go online. That's the website right there, mygovernmentonline.org. The mayor of Kerrville, Joe Herring Jr., is addressing some questions after speaking with members of the community in the aftermath of the flooding. The mayor posted on social media last night, the city does not directly operate the emergency alert systems that serve Kerrville, but they are working with partners across the region to determine how those alerts are delivered and how communication can improve moving forward. He also says that there are many resources for victims, including FEMA, housing aid, and emotional care. Just go to kerrtogether.com. He then finished that post by saying that the city and its residents will rebuild, repair, and will work to strengthen the community's ability to respond to future emergencies. Well, yesterday, several communities honored the life of one of the little girls from Camp Mystic. Guadalupe County Fire and Seguin Fire honoring that precious little girl right there, 8-year-old Virginia Hollis, with a solemn procession as her body was taken from Camp Mystic to Belleville. Virginia is one of the 27 girls and counselors that died in the floods. Welcome back. We're closing in on 5:10 now on this Thursday. We are live in Kerrville this morning with details on a relief fund that's set up for flood victims. News 4's Tawny Davis, she is there with details on how it all works. Tawny, a lot of folks on the edge of their seats wanting to know how they can get their hands on some of this money.
Yes, well, the donations to the Kerr County Flood Relief Fund stay local and support nonprofit partners by providing direct aid to families, individuals, local businesses, and first responders, as well as crisis response. Now, for local businesses, reach out to organizations Lift Fund and Kerrville Area Chamber of Commerce for rapid relief grants or zero-interest loans. Individuals and families are asked to reach out to organizations like the Salvation Army, Mercy Chefs, World Central Kitchen, and the Hunt Volunteer Fire Department. For crisis response, organizations like Kerrville Pets Alive, First Methodist Church, Notre Dame Catholic Church, Schreiner University, and Ingram ISD for help. And finally, first responders can reach out to Ingram, Centerpoint, Mountain Home, The Divide, and Hunt Volunteer Fire Department. There will also be a vigil next week for the communities of Ingram and Hunt called A Night of Hope. Ingram ISD is asking people to stand in hope for Hunt as they take the next step forward side by side as neighbors and friends. The vigil will be on July 23rd at 7:30 p.m. at Ingram at Tom Moore High School on the softball field. Now, we will continue to follow these updates and give you that information once we know it on air and online. For now, reporting live in Kerrville, I'm Tawny Davis. Back to you.
The big question in all of this, at least one of them, why didn't local officials send out a warning using their alert system called Code Red? News 4 I-Team reporter Jay Avila gives us an inside look at a similar system that is used here in Bexar County, including who can actually approve activation.
Here at Bexar Metro 911, they oversee the emergency notification system used throughout Bexar, Comal, and Guadalupe counties. But the name of the alerts may be different depending on what city or county you live in, and you may have to sign up to get the alerts.
As the Guadalupe River rose to life-threatening levels early on the morning of July 4th, a volunteer firefighter urgently requested a warning be sent out to people's cell phones.
Is there any way we can send a code red out to our Hunt residents asking them to find higher ground or stay home?
10-4 standby. We have to get that approved with our supervisor.
Kerr County officials so far have refused to answer why that alert apparently never went out until hours later, after dozens of people had been swept away. Code Red is the name of a notification platform Kerr County purchased from a private vendor, and similar systems are used by cities and counties around the nation. Here they use one called REEN, which stands for Regional Emergency Alert Network.
Staff are trained to send alerts for flooding, missing persons, wildfires, chemical explosions.
In Comal and Guadalupe counties, they call the program REEN, but in San Antonio, it's known as Alert SA. That's important because unlike National Weather Service alerts, you have to sign up by going to the city's or the county's emergency management webpage.
It'll either ring your cell phone like a normal phone call or send a text or email message.
Instead of blasting out a warning to a huge area, like a National Weather Service or Amber Alert, the REEN system can be used to target a specific neighborhood. Only people inside certain boundaries will receive the alert. The city of San Antonio says the lieutenant on duty in the dispatch center has authority to issue alerts if the situation is urgent. Bexar County says its fire marshal or emergency management staff are available 24/7 to approve alerts.
The emergency notification system costs about $150,000 a year, and it's paid for with the 911 service fee on your phone bill. For the News 4i team, I'm Jay Avila.